Hi, I'm Dom, one of the clubs and volunteering officers, and today we'll be talking about time, specifically how to manage it. We'll then go through how ARC supports your club before we delve into the exciting world of risk assessments. Time, the fourth dimension, the measure by which we order our past, present, and future, and the march towards our inevitably grisly end. But how can you make it work for you? I can't tell you. I can't tell you because it's a personal thing. Everyone manages their time differently, and what works for me might not necessarily work for you. Today we'll explore the steps to managing your time, planning ahead, and staying organized. As an executive of your club, you must remember that you're not just juggling your work, studies, club, and social life. You also need to manage the time of yourself and others. So what's the easiest way to manage your time? You have to plan it out beforehand. You have to identify the desired outcome, identify your options to reach that desired outcome, and then pick an option, and then you got to run with it. What do you want to happen? Say, I'd really like a cookie right now. How many ways can you think of to get there? Maybe I can ask someone for a cookie, or maybe I should buy a cookie. You got to pick one of those ways and run with it. People like their own cookies, so I'm probably just going to buy my own. Plan for the worst. Contingency planning. Things can and will go wrong. That's just a fact. How will you adjust to when things go wrong? You've got to develop a wet weather plan. But what if people don't pull their weight? And according to every group work story ever, there's always someone who doesn't pull their own weight. But what if things cost too much? Bookings fall through. What if competing events happen, and then sabotage, and then an alien invasion happens, and then like a robot apocalypse? The key is to stay positive. Delegate. Remember that you're part of a team. Whether that's your fellow executive or your keen club members, be sure to make use of them. It's not being lazy if you call it delegation. Make sure you delegate things they want to do, but be sure to remember that any deadline you set needs to be well before your actual deadline. Prioritize. You can decide what to prioritize based on considering two important factors: its importance and its urgency. Here you can see what to prioritize. Matters of low importance and low urgency are just distractions. They're also known as the internet. Matters of low importance and high urgency are interruptions, usually someone else's deadline or activity that you need to assist with. Sure, you could help them out, but you can also just say no. Matters of high importance and low urgency are important goals, long-term projects that require gradual work rather than all of your focus. Matters of high importance and high urgency are critical activities. Get it done. Stay organized. I use to-do lists. Long, detailed to-do lists. Tasks are broken down into smaller tasks, ranked by priority, details on who is responsible for each task. Go through them every day and make sure you include short, specific actions. This lets you plan out your day and week and keep focus on all the things that you need to do. Here at ARC, we have many resources designed specifically for clubs. Grants. Grants are your avenue for financial support from ARC, so please see this link. Please, before watching the rest of the video, look, I'll wait. It's fine. Good. That file, the grants procedures, covers all of the requirements and calculations and processes associated with grants. All grants are subject to the requirements in that document. So let's go through some of the points you need to know. The main grant that clubs will apply for and receive throughout the year is the club's grant. Your funding level decides the maximum amount you can receive through the club's grant. Bronze are 3 to 49 members, up to $1,000. Silver are 50 to 199 members, up to $2,000. And gold are 200 plus members, up to $4,000. There are 4 different categories for your club grant: activity, equipment, merchandise, and publication. You'll also get a secretarial allowance to be used for printing, photocopying, laminating, and badge making. Remember those funding levels from earlier? They decide this as well. Bronze get $25 a semester, silver $100 a semester, and gold up to $200 a semester. You'll need access codes to print and photocopy, and they can all be found on your OrgSync portal. Student Community and Development Grant, the SCDG. This is a special grant. It's not really so special, but it doesn't count towards your funding limits, and that's alright in my book. Unlike the club's grant, the SCDG is a competitive grant. Now I know what you're thinking, but you'd be wrong. It's nothing like the Hunger Games. But it will take into account the quality of your application and how well you address the criteria. What criteria, you ask? The grant is designed to provide support for activities that seek to contribute to the campus community and/or develop graduate attributes. The club's loan scheme. Like our counterparts in Jaws, the Street Sharks, and Cronulla, we too offer loans. In this case, our loans can be for events up to $500 or for equipment, merchandise, or publication purchases up to $750. But be warned, this is also competitive, and ARC will only grant an amount they feel confident your club can pay back by the due date. Or else. Stuff. We also offer clubs access to stuff. Clubs are able to book rooms and specific outdoor areas, tutorial rooms, lecture theatres, ARC rooms, and barbecues alike. Barbecues, projectors, tables, chairs, speakers can all be hired from ARC for a $50 deposit per item. You don't break it, you don't need to pay for it. You will need to pay for the gas usage though. You'll also have access to badge makers, laminating, guillotines, all of which can be found in their natural habitat, the club's office. You can book these things and apply for all these grants through your one-stop club running shop, OrgSync. Plus you'll have access to legal advice on contracts or for legal action for ARC's legal and advocacy service. Contact ARC Reception to make an appointment. Oh, and public liability insurance. But be warned, even our legal team won't be able to help you if you break the university's policies. Migration and education agents and organisations are not allowed on campus without explicit authorisation from ARC and UNSW. If your members are interested in attending seminars on these topics or any others, please let our club staff know and we can work with you to organise an event. Our club staff are always there to help you. Contact us on the information below to book in a time to see one of our dedicated staff for reaffiliation, grants, WHS, and more. And speaking of WHS, risk assessments. Risk. It's everywhere. Like bacteria, which is a risk. Everywhere. The first step to manage that risk is to assess it. This is a risk assessment form. All you need to do is fill out with every conceivable terrible thing you can think of. Let's go through it together, shall we? This front page is fairly straightforward. What's the name of your event? What is it that you're actually gonna do? Where? Who could get hurt? How are you gonna warn them if they could get hurt? Now, this is where things get a little more confusing. Task/scenario. What is the actual thing you'll be doing when something goes wrong? In this case, let's say you're setting up. Hazard. There's going to be some manual handling, lifting stuff, lots of people perhaps in a small area or space. Associated harm, dropping heavy things on toes, injury because you didn't bend at the knees, head-on collisions, injuring each other with long items like tables because there just isn't enough room in that small space. Existing control. But that can be avoided. Closed shoes only. Proper manual handling taught. A limit on the people in the room, especially when moving large objects. Additional controls required. A trolley if you can hire one. Risk rating. This is the most important step. You'll notice there are indications here to enter C, L, and R. But what does that mean? This is the risk rating matrix. You'll see that C stands for consequence, rated from 1, insignificant, to 5, severe. L for likelihood, rated A, almost certain, to E, rare, and R for risk. Low to medium risks are acceptable, usually unlikely risks that you've done as much as you can to predict and avoid. High risks are unacceptable unless you can address it. You can't run that activity. Once you've completed it, or you need help with it, contact us with the information below, so we can go over it and provide any feedback if required. So until next time, take care and beware.